guys, we're back. Oh, they can't. Hold on, they can't hear you. Hold on. Oh no, what's happening? Okay, hold on. Headphones, default. Headphones. Okay. All right.
Go off my sleeve.
Okay, talk.
Hello?
Woo!
Can you hear me?
Okay, it automatically connects to my Oculus headset that's underneath my computer, and I can't ever figure out why. My computer just randomly does it. Like, suddenly I just won't have sound, and I'll look, and I'm like, okay, let me check the source of my, like, sound, and it will show, like, my Oculus headset, and I'm like, stop! Anyway, we're back for another...
We're still here.
A video podcast.
We're keeping this podcast
We're trying.
alive.
We're trying.
It will not go down so easily in the dark.
Yes.
There's a quote in there somewhere. But...
Yeah, I feel like it. I feel like that's what's happening. Okay, so.
Yeah, well, in my defense, I have been editing.
Yes, you have 2 different books.
My husband and I are editing Apex for the weekends. I've been trying to listen to the Survivor audiobook. So I literally barely have kept up with one video on my own YouTube channel, and I just put a picture of a library to music and was like, library ambience. That can count as this week's video. So yeah, I've had like no time. But what's been going on with you? I know right now we have a bad snowstorm. But...
Yeah, we're it's the aftermath of the snowstorm. The snow is beginning to melt, but I've been at home for like the past, like it started on Friday. Woke up Friday. It was really, really cold. That was like the cold front moved in. And in the middle of this really cold weather, the power goes out for like my town and the town next to our town. And I usually keep my apartment like 68, 69, like that temp. It got down to 61.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, and I was, by the time mom had come over to help kind of like help clean and, do tidying. And I forget what she was coming over for. Oh, she was waiting to go into Walmart and they wouldn't let her in. And eventually she had to go to the bathroom. So she's like, I'm coming over, because I live like 30 seconds away from Walmart. And she's like, I'm coming over to go use your bathroom. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, whatever. And so we get in here and then she goes into this, well, what's this? What are these things? And, I am a piler. I'm a chronic piler. Hence all the piles of things that's on my desk at a given time. I'm a piler. My mom is a hider. The clutter makes her really, really anxious. I think she is like slightly actually OCD, I think, but she probably won't ever get tested, but you know what I'm saying? But it's like, they will physically make her like, she will get like physically upset and it will really, really bother her. And so, especially with me for some reason, but yeah. And so she came over to help, and I was by the time she came over, it was like, it had started about like 5:45, 5:50 in the morning. And this was almost like 10 o'clock. No. It was 9 something. It was almost 10 o'clock. And all I'd had were a last little bit of like cheddar pretzels, like those cheddar pretzels at Walmart. And that's all I'd had to eat, because I wanted my breakfast sandwich, but I couldn't warm it up because it was in the freezer, and I didn't have electricity to warm up my breakfast sandwich, so I was in a hot mess.
That's awful.
And I'm just like, I was crabby, and Mom was asking a lot of questions, and we were just having a time, But I did a lot of reading, though. I did read.
Yeah, you've been like through like 5 or 6 books in the time I'm still reading. Just
technically, okay. I already had Daughter of No Worlds done. I don't think that was since our last check-in, I finished Daughter of No Worlds, but that wasn't over the snow bit. I do want to read book 2. I'm just like not overly invested in it yet, and I don't want to start it and then just lose steam and like
Not be
waste,
able to,
and
yeah.
it almost feels like a waste of a waste of a book, because I know it's going to be a really, really good book. I just am not fully in that headspace right now, and I've read a lot of her books here within like last year, like a lot. Kind of like
We have. We went on the trip to
kind of like Sarah J. Maas. Like once you read so much of their books, it's like I need to take a step back for a minute. And so I read hers, and I'm like, I don't really know what I want to read, because there's no big series that I'm in the middle of reading or whatever. And so I ended up starting The Two Towers, and that's the one I think you had remembered, like, or you and I had talked a little bit. And
yeah, we had a.
This is the one that I finished. Yeah, this is the one I finished at the start of the snowstorm. I finished this one, and
right.
Honestly,
last I talked to you, you didn't have it done yet. So
yeah. Well, and honestly, like The Two Towers is probably my least watched movie, because I watched the first of the three with full intentions of doing a watch through, and then I stop after the first one because I'm like tired and I end up going to bed. I watched the third one because the third one's my favorite one, and I think part of it's because that's Dad's favorite one too. So we would always watch the Return of the King, and so I know I've watched it all the way through at least once, but you know I was just kind of going in there kind of like concerned like it was going to be boring, and there were certain parts where I'm just like, it was like you goes back and forth between Merry and Pippin's POV and Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli. The three of them, they get a POV, like that's one POV, and then you have Merry and Pippin are POV. And so it bounces back and forth, but when the two of them meet up again, you have, I can't remember if it was Merry or Pippin, but one of them essentially retells everything that happened. It's like the in-between, so it's like what happens when we weren't like there, because Merry and Pippin's POV ends at a certain point, and then we kind of get like the what happened kind of thing. And so that like it ended at just the right time, because I was starting to get a little tired of him just kind of recounting everything, you know, and it was just kind of
I totally get that.
But then we switched to Sam and Frodo, and that's when like that whole thing picked up, and it was like there were certain things that happened that I'm just like, one, in the movies Merry and Pippin get split up, in the book that never happens.
That's crazy.
They're both.
I was waiting for you to get to that part. I was like, when do they get split off? Yeah.
They both go with Treebeard. Like they don't get split up.
Huh.
Yeah. And then what was the guy's name? There was one. Okay. He's one of the... It's gonna bother me. What's his name? Okay, it's one of the... the brothers that are essentially they're the brothers that are kind of like the next in line for at Rohan.
Boromir and Faramir.
Faramir, yeah. Faramir. Like, in the movies, you have to tell me this because I could not remember. Did Frodo and Sam ever meet up with anyone on their own in the second movie at all?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
Okay, so,
maybe.
Sam and Frodo meet up with Faramir, and they have a whole thing where the men are their army is fighting another men. I say men because there's orcs too. For the people that don't know the context. Gotcha. So there's a battle with trees and orcs, and then there's a battle between man and man, and there's a whole man versus man battle because Sam and Frodo are being led by Gollum or Smeagol, whatever you want to call him, and they full on meet up with spoiler alert, by the way.
I mean, if you haven't been spoiled by Lord of the Rings at this
Yeah, yeah. So it's like, you know what? If you
point,
haven't,
Harry Potter, it's your own fault.
yeah. Um, and so they full on meet up with Faramir and his people, and he's like drilling like Frodo with all these questions because Frodo was like the last person to see his brother Boromir, and he saw kind of had like a vision or something of because they Aragon and them put him in like a ship when he died at the end of the first one. They kind of put him in a ship and kind of sailed him off down the sea, and I guess his brother had some kind of vision and saw it and figured that's what would happened, but he was wanting to know the details of what happened. And there was like for a while there you think that Faramir is going to take the ring. And that's where it's like as Sam and Frodo, like you can tell it's like a third, like isn't the third person perspective where it's like everyone, not the I. It's like
it's third person omniscient,
okay.
yeah.
And so
there's a third person specific.
Like you can tell that it's like you can tell that it's more like from Sam and Frodo's perspective because it gives off that vibe of like he's going to take the ring or like something's going to happen, he's going to try to take it. And then he's like, didn't I tell you that I wouldn't trade anything in the world? I forget how he words it, but he essentially says that there's no way he would ever, even if he could solve all of their battles and disputes with that one ring, he would never choose it and never pick it up or never try to take it. And he says that several times. Aww. And it was like one of those moments, it was like, oh, okay. Like, I've just been expecting all these bad things, but it's like, okay, he like genuinely doesn't want the ring. And yeah. And
I did meet up with him because that part's sounding familiar to me, but I don't think it got as detailed as you, at least maybe my memory of stuff is true, but I feel like they met up, but I don't think as much happened in that meetup, but maybe I'm wrong.
Well, and Sam is a whole hothead, to be completely honest. He's like, Sam is like jumping in at Frodo's defense, but he's like treating Gollum like crap, and and Gollum is like overly nice to Frodo, but is like just super grumpy and just like snarky and mean to Sam because Sam is just mean to him.
I remember being on Sam's side and hating how Sam got treated during at least for the movie version. Yeah. I was like, why are you treating Sam so bad? This is the best friend who ever friended.
Well, I think it was more I don't know how or at least in the book, like he's constantly calling. Like, he's always talking down Gollum. And it's like, from the book, it's giving, like, I don't know if, like, lore-wise, if Frodo is older. I think Frodo's supposed to be older than Sam. Because Sam kind of, like, works for Frodo, if I understand. That's why he calls him master. It's not because he's a slave. He, like, works under him. Kind of like he works for him kind of thing. And, like, the gardens or whatever. Okay. And so, but it definitely... Frodo gives off Galadriel vibes at certain points in time. Like, he is definitely more, like, not logical thinking, but, like, more level-headed, if that makes sense. Wiser. Yeah, wiser. He's definitely wiser at several points. And I think partly why Sam comes off the way he does is just lack of life experience is what I'm kind of playing it off as. That and Sam literally doesn't have one nice thing to say about Gollum the entire time, and he's like telling him to go places or threatening him or whatnot. And so it's like the fact that Gollum hated Sam is just like it's giving off kind of a little bit more immature vibes, like adolescent.
It sounds like they tamed it down for the movie.
But it wasn't horrible, but it was like, and then there was one point where he was wanting to make rabbit stew. He was wanting to make stew because he could tell that Frodo was looking really frail, and he was like sleeping, and he was looking really frail and thin and just kind of gaunt almost. And so Sam decides he wants to make a stew. So he tries to talk nice to Gollum to get him to go get rabbits, but Gollum is just like, I see through this, I'm not, whatever. But he leaves and go gets these rabbits, and Gollum, I figured out what it is. Gollum likes things raw. He eats things raw. And Sam starts like cutting up these rabbits to make into a stew, and Gollum full on has a fit.
I think I remember that in
Yeah,
the movie.
yeah.
If
And
I
so there's
remember
certain
correctly.
things that,
I
there's
thought it
certain
made
things that are the
sense.
same, but it's like
That's funny
there's
though.
multiple times, like any interactions that we have between Sam towards Gollum, it's never positive. It's, and
Yeah.
he'll use words like sneaking around, or like, what are you doing sneaking around? Like, it's just little things like that that just, there's no way that Gollum would ever see Sam in a positive light, purely because of, like, Sam is always assuming Gollum's doing something bad, which he is, to be realistic, to be completely honest. Gollum had purely bad intentions, but the only reason why he agreed to keep them safe is because he wanted the ring. So he was going to lead them to their death and then take the ring. That's the only reason why he was ever nice to them to begin with, or helping them at all, because he had his own ulterior motives for doing it. And it was just, so Sam was very valid, but it's like at the same time, Frodo knew when to be nice to Gollum to get what they needed out of him. And so he knew how to sweet talk him, or like be gentle with him to get Smeagol back instead of Gollum, because Gollum was the more nasty side. And so he knew what to say and how to say things in a way that kept Smeagol around, the good person, the remnants of the old hobbit that he used to be. Yeah. So it was actually really good. And getting Andy Serkis saying his Gollum and Smeagol vibes was as perfect as you would expect it to be. And oh my god, it was amazing. So yeah. And then
I was listening to Lord of the Rings or the Fellowship of the Ring.
Yes.
And a little bit. And because somebody posted a reading schedule, like, hey, listen to this. Like, it's like one chapter every 2 days. You could finish it in January. So the new year, I was like, hey, I can do this. And then I fell behind. But then when I was doing the taxes, I'm like, numbers and freaking Excel and like all this tedious stuff. I'm like, I need something to keep me sane. So I was like on chapter 2. And I swear, I got to like chapter 6. And like, you guys, anybody who's listened to the audiobooks know how chunky those chapters are. Doing my taxes, and it kept me sane. And I'm like, there's a lot of songs. They're just singing about baths and like all these
Tom
things.
Bombadil,
and I'm like, okay, but like, but he's like, he has a different voice for like every single character. And like,
there's a lot of
Hobbit,
characters.
like there's the one like storyteller Hobbit, and so it's just, he's so talented. Like each individual character is like completely unique. So I tried to gush about Andy Serkis. And like, you and I have gushed about him a lot.
Oh yeah. Well, and it's cool because you can tell that he took the actors' voices but put his own twist on them. So like Aragorn in the book sounds vaguely like the Aragorn from the movie, but it's slightly different. And it's like
Gandalf and Frodo when I was like in the first one. Yeah. And so from the parts I got. Aragorn and Pippin surprised me too. Like they're again very close to the movies, but like
slightly different.
Book version, like his take on it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And you can tell everybody apart. Like I don't have to hear like Frodo or Sam's dead. Like I don't
you
need
can tell who it is.
I'd be like, oh, I know who that is.
Oh yeah.
Like that's. It's just, he's so good.
He's so good.
Not all the way through it yet. So since I was like, I listened to like 4 hours of this book. I need a break. It's a lot when you binge do it, and I'm like, that would help me get through my taxes this week. So I was like, I need a little bit of a break before I go back to it. But I'm slowly making my way through Fellowship of the Ring.
Sweet, cool.
Yeah.
So and then
back to you though.
Okay, and then I'm like, I don't really know what to like read because I couldn't figure out what sounded good. I read like the first chapter in a book that I got in a book haul, which I'm, if we have time at the end, we might do the book. I might show you all the books that I found, but as if I got them for free. I spent not a stupid amount of money. I spent more than I probably should have. But to be fair, I went to Jeff and I went to that, what's that place that we go to when we go to Fuji's?
You can't get out
vintage
of
stock. And so I had a whole stack, I had a whole stack of them. So I'm like, you know what? It'll be fine. And so I read like a whole chapter out of one of the books, and I'm like, this is a good book, but I'm just not like passionate about it. So, and then I read like the first couple pages of Clockwork Angel, and I'm just like, again, I like it, but I'm just not passionate about it at the moment. And so I was looking through, and I'm like, I don't want to go on to the Children of Fallen Gods, which is the second one in the Daughter of No World series. I don't want to go on to that one yet because, again, I'm not super passionate about it, but that's one of them I really, really want to enjoy, and I know that I will. But if I go into, and we were talking about this beforehand, but like if I go into it like not super, super pumped for it, it almost feels like a waste of a read because it would have been so much better if I would have waited until I was really into it, kind of thing.
Yeah, you just gotta be in the mood for things sometimes. Yeah. So I've been like that a lot lately.
And so
like, I don't want anything to be a victim of my reading slump. So.
Oh yeah. And so I was looking, and I'm like, and I was looking at yours. I'm like, I know. I thought it was it because I remember thinking, hearing you talk about one of your author friends that was reading survival, and it was like really emotional. And I'm like, okay, but I need to catch up. And I'm like, I'm not going to get in. I have this perpetual, like, I forget, it's like, feels like this never ending cycle that I will start Samurai. I won't be in the mood for Samurai, but I'll start it because I want to get to the other books. And then I get so many chapters in, and then I'm just like, I gotta save this for later. It's like, it's happened like 4 times now. No joke. I will get into this, but I do want to read this book, but it's like, I need to be ready for that.
It's an acquired taste.
Yeah. So and if you don't know, Samurai is like, it's like fantasy world based on like historical Japan. So it's like that whole vibe.
It's got a lot of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon vibes. Like if anybody likes the romance in that one, you'll love the romance in Samurai. That was great.
So that, and I'm like, well, I looked and I'm like, I didn't realize Assassin was so short. And so I'm like, oh, I could read this in a couple of days. And I just never told you that I was reading it until certain points. And I'm like, oh, by the way. Okay, well, to be fair, was it the AI picture thing that I sent you, or was it like, it was the AI, the first one.
Like the sketch of
and
Aiden.
So, Aiden and, how do you say her name again? Sivlia? Okay.
At least that's how that's how Brand.
So, like,
I can't remember.
She's drawing him at one point, and you give like a description, because I was like, I wonder if she ever gives a description of what it looks like, and you did, and I'm like, okay. So I went into ChatGPT, whether you like ChatGPT or not, regardless, because I don't care what people think. Anyway, so I went into ChatGPT, and I was like, can you create? Okay, let me see if I can pull this up to see what exactly the prompt that I give it, because I remember saying like specific things. Let's see. Okay, so I said, can you create an image that looks as if it were created with ink and a brush, but based on the following description? And it was like, yep. And then it was like, go ahead and copy and paste the description in. So I typed in the description from the book. The man she drew had sharp features. He had shoulder length, dark, wavy hair. His mouth was set in a grim line, firm and serious. And then I skipped some bits that weren't like description-y. And I said his eyes looked alert and dark, with determination etched across his features, with a sadness too deep to form words. And it gave me the masterpiece of a picture. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna send this. I'm just gonna take a picture of my computer screen and send it to you. I forget what I.
For anybody else, from my perspective, I just get this random text message. I'm reading Assassin. I'm at the part where she draws this sketch of Aiden, and here's this masterpiece. I'm just gonna leave this here, and she just sends me this whole thing, and I'm like, I'm still trying to process that you're reading Assassin, much less how good it looked, and like, fangirling, like
okay, I said, why? Oh, this was later. I was like, I've been reading Assassin and got to the part where Sylvia draws Aiden, and I thought I'd have ChatGPT create it based on the description you had of Hayden given the book. I'm just gonna leave this masterpiece here. LOL. I just like bombed it, and yeah, if anyone's wanting to know, that's what it looked like, and it was just.
So good.
It was funny. I saved the photo and I emailed it to myself so that way I could have access to it on the computer. And I attached the picture, and the only description I put in the email was asterisk It was like the little star, and it said French kiss star. Like, French kiss. And I just sent it to myself because I'm like, you know what? We're going to need that. And then I finished that one, and I'm like, okay, I need to, like, and then I remembered that you had, like, a short companion to all of the books, and I'm like, there was no audiobook for it, because I was looking at Audible, but then I'm like, wait a minute, I have the ebooks as well. So I went through on my Kindle app on my phone and was, like, scrolling through until I could find where it was at. And so I read that, and I swear, it had me bawling at one point. My goodness. Oh my gosh, I was like, yes, it was like the part where, okay, it was the part when it was like a flashback. So, is it Nisi? Is that how you say that name? Nisi. That's what I thought it was. But it was whenever she and Aiden were interacting, and he was having a flashback during that. And it was when he was struggling, because she was telling Nisi to imagine, like, something the two of them did together to help remember. And so, and it was, like, a flashback to when Jace told him that. And it was just, like understanding, like, having read Jace's story, and, like, understanding, like, it was just, like, I don't know. It was just really sad. And I just literally started bawling. And I'm like, what in the heck? So I sent you this gif of this blubbering cat. And I'm like, why? Why? So yeah, it was only just like, it was like, I forget what line it was that hit me. But let's see if I can find it. Yeah. Because it was going to bother me. It'll bug me, so I figured it out. But it was, yeah, I forget exactly. He said, I cannot picture her anymore. I only see her as she was in death. And he's like, the man's eyes softened, something flashed in his gaze, but Aiden felt too consumed with his own thoughts to notice or dwell on it. He said, do not think on what she looks like, rather picture what something you two did together, and the image of her will become clear. And so it was like, I don't know, it's just that line there that it was like, because then it's like the thought crossed my mind of like the hundreds of years where he'd been forced to do that because he'd seen her essentially die so many times that, you know, or as close to near death as you can get without dying. Yeah. And so I'm like, yeah, it was just, I was one of the, and that's when I text you and I'm like, excuse me. But yeah.
Yeah, the fellowship, and like, that was the scene whenever Brandon was narrating that in Victorious, where like that's when he decided to voice Jace and like help me, because I'd been ranting to him and talking to him about my issues with like, oh, all these narrators keep putting on me and I don't know what to do and I'm freaking out. And he's like, well, you know, he was voicing Jace and Aiden, because our concern was like, I didn't want the same voice for all the characters, so we didn't know if he could change it up enough, but he had to do a conversation between the two guys in Victorious anyway. Yeah. And he voiced his voice, and so he had to figure it out anyway. And so that's how he became the narrator of that scene, is why he became the narrator of Jace. And I'm like, I can't hear anybody else. So that was a heavy scene. I remember that was something my husband told me back when we were dating. At the time, our great grandmother had just passed away, and I was young. And I remember, because I was there when she died. I don't remember if you were there. But I could only picture her, because she had pneumonia, I think, and so it was heavy breathing, that rasping sound, and I could not picture Nanny, like I called her Nanny, any other way other than that. And I was talking about this a long time, like way back when we were dating, and that's what he told me. And I remember trying, like I would picture like sitting on the rocking chair, and she would tell those stories, or the pop-up books, or like that one old video clip of you and me as kids like fighting over the little piano thing at her house.
Or when you're trying to hold me in your lap and I was not having it at all.
Would not. Yeah. Oh my gosh, our childhood was interesting.
Or the fake dinosaurs in the backyard of our grandparents' house. Yeah, that was interesting. I was scared to death, and I wanted to go to my parents, and you're like, wouldn't let me go in the house, and I'm just like, yeah, I was a very gullible child, to be fair. I was stupid. I wasn't academically dumb, but I was logically dumb. I was logically dumb. I thought dinosaurs were real, and my cousin was keeping me outside where the dinosaurs could get us.
And I was like, you can't tell the grown-ups.
Oh my
They won't
God.
understand. And
Yeah.
it's like,
Or when you made me go down the dark slide at Walmart at McDonald's. Yeah.
okay.
The
so
blue slide.
Like the old McDonald's play places don't exist anymore, but ours had two different slides. One was just this simple little light thing. The other one was the blue slide. We were all terrified of the blue slide. And I made it my life's goal. You have to pass this ritual of going down the blue slide. I did it for you, and I did it to my sister.
Oh
and I would force them to go down this slide when they're crying and terrified of this slide because it was scary at the time.
Okay.
And I did that to Alicia.
Oh my God. It was, and it was literally, it was only scary because it was blue and not green, and it wasn't next to, like, the green one was lit up a little bit more than the blue one was. That was literally the only reason, and it had a little bit of a spiral, so you couldn't see the bottom. You had to go around the corner to see the bottom.
Where you were going,
And that's the only reason why it was scary. Yeah. Building character, you know? It works. And then I ended up with this one, which I'm liking it so far. I'm only like a few chapters in. But, so essentially, the forest, it's, okay, so, the great hunt begins every 50 years, and only the champions willing to face death to shatter the curse dare to enter. So this forest is cursed, and there's humans and fae, and this forest is cursed, and the forest just randomly is kind of alive. It has like a sense of being alive, and it will grow, and it will take over these villages, like these areas of like these human villages, and will take over, like overgrown and take over it, and the vines will literally like grab people and like kill people and embed them into these trees, and it's really intense. And so these warriors go in, and they have to, there was like a it was like a little poem that the narrator actually sang, to be fair, and she did a really good job with it. But they have to collect all of these like necklaces kind of things. They have to collect all of them and place them and like collect all of them and return them, and then the forest will grant its favor, so they'll get like the boon, like the reward for breaking the curse. And so these warriors, they train these people will train as warriors to go in. It's kind of giving me like Hunger Games mixed with, it was like Hunger Games mixed with a little bit of like Survivor, because they're trying to find these amulet things, and so it kind of gave me that I could see it becoming that thing where if they find an amulet, they don't want any of the others to know, but these people are randomly getting, because like they say certain things, and I have a theory, but they say things in a certain way or towards a certain person, and then they end up like dying, and like the forest will end up like grabbing them or like, and it was just different. But it's really interesting so far. And so she's not like a warrior. She's not really like powerful in that sense, but she's read a lot of like, I call them lore books. They're like history books of like the spirits that have like the different amulets. And so she's read a lot about, she's read books on that and like journals and stuff. And it kind of hints that she had an older sister that's dead or gone now, or something's happened to her. It doesn't tell us what happened yet, but we just know that it's like a really, really, really sore subject, and she's going in there to try to break the curse for her sister. So, yeah.
Nice take.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
And there's a dual POV. There's the guy's POV, a guy's POV, and her POV, and it's a dual narrator. It's dual narration.
Honestly,
too.
Honey, you're giving me I am getting interested.
And I got it at Target.
Okay. I'll have to go there.
So yeah, it's good. I'm enjoying it so far. And then But the Fae and the humans are kind of giving an Akatari vibe, but not quite. Like, but it's just the thing is, they're not like taking humans. Like the Fae will come in and trade with the humans, from time to time. But like they have these high walls. They've like completely shut themselves out, and so they're letting like the humans take the blunt of like the forest's wrath and stuff. But when we went to the guy's POV, he kind of made it like insinuated that the forest was angry at the Fae. So I don't know if they did something to anger the forest. I don't know. But yeah,
that'll be interesting to figure that out.
Yeah, and
also,
so
it's gorgeous. And I told you this before. We said it's gorgeous. Like, look at that. Like, look at it's gorgeous.
And
I want it.
And it's book 1, so there's multiple, and there's inside cover art.
Oh my god! Why is that masterpiece?
Oh, also, look at the beginning of the chapters.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
I need. Okay,
it's really pretty.
It's gonna be my new read.
It's really pretty.
I need to get it this weekend. Okay, speaking of my reading, I have been reading Daughter of No World.
Yes.
So this is interesting. You came over on New Year's, had me listen to the prologue. The prologue is the angstiest prologue.
Oh my god! Prologue. Yes.
It's so good, and I cannot tell you. Okay, it's not often that I find a book that is exactly like the way that I would write it, and that's not an arrogance thing. It's just I can cater to myself perfectly.
Yeah.
Whether it's crap or not, it's crap that I can like.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm telling you what, this story is the closest I've ever found, and that's over Fourth Wing, Akatar, like all those things. It is like the guy has such an angsty thing. It's like it's a trope.
He's giving me. Honestly, he reminds me of Han Solo. I could figure out who he reminds me of, but he kind of reminds me of like an angsty Han Solo, but like that went through some crap.
I can kind of I'm picking
like
up
the hard here. Like the hard exterior shell, like the nonchalant, I don't care, I just want, because like Han Solo is always like, I'm in it for the money, but then he slowly kind of like starts caring, and that was the vibe that
but yeah. Sorry, and so for me, and also like the main, I loved the main girl, and it was giving me a really heavy Throne of Glass vibes in the beginning, and I did feel like Throne of Glass does a little bit better to make you care about the people and why we're trying to set the kingdom free. But that wasn't the focus of this one, so it's okay. It's just a difference that I noticed. But I feel like this one is the example of a true romantasy, because there's just pages and pages and pages of just her and the guy interacting, and that's what that's a huge difference between a romance and like a fantasy with like there's other stuff going on, but there's a lot of secrets and there was a lot going on. I literally like went through half the book in a day, and I went through the other half the second day, and then I stopped, and then I started editing, and I would have finished it in literally 2 days, but I had stopped right at the ending, just because I started editing, and I got to the part, they were getting ready to do the big ball, and the big, we're gonna take this all down, and like the climax.
Dude, you need to read.
I stopped right before that.
Dude, you need to read that.
So,
you're reading it after we get done with our check-in. You're reading it to finish it, because I need your thoughts.
Yeah, so I stopped because I was editing, and I was too tired to read. I would fall asleep on the couch, and at one point I was reading a book on my Kindle, one of my own books, just to get ahead of my husband and I editing. I'm reading ahead on Apex, editing on the Kindle, and then helping us when we do. But anyways, I dropped my Kindle in my lap because I fell asleep holding it in the air.
That's funny.
So at least it was my Kindle and not a book. It's heavy.
Yeah.
So yeah, and so last night I think we talked the other day, and maybe we were texting or something, but something spurred me. I was like, I need to finish.
We Discorded for a bit. We did like a personal, just us chatting, like a hanging Discord, because you were editing while we were chatting, I think.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
And it spurred me. I was like, I need to finish Daughter of No World. So last night I read about 50 pages, and I did the whole ballroom scene, the aftermath, the whole shebang there. So the climax, basically, or one of them. There may be another one. I don't know. I can't tell if we're going to glide to the ending and be nice and relaxed, or if we're going to Sarah J. Maas our way to the end and just throw us all for a loop. I don't know where this is
honestly, I can't remember detail like very, very well. I don't want to, like...
Can I just say, though, I actually think I like this, at least from this book, I like it better than The Crowns of Naxia.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't read the whole
I
series
haven't
yet,
either, but I have a feeling that I'm going to like it. It's going to be a really good series. And I have heard a lot of people say that they liked this one better. I have heard people say that.
Well, also, and when we're talking about Sarah J. Maas, like, the story really does actually, like, hinge on both the guy and the girl, and, like, the guy's backstory plays a huge role in the story. And so many times these days with, like, romantasy and fantasy books, it's, like, all about the girl, and that's not a problem in some cases, but I just like the attention that the guy gets, because a lot of, like, there's this particular monster that has this obsession with him, and like it really does. It's very much obsessed with him, and it puts the guy kind of in an equal spotlight with the girl that we don't get in a lot of fantasy books these days.
Yeah.
And on top of the romance and stuff, and also the leadership people are not my favorite people. I think, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Like, they're kind of jerky.
The queen is low key crazy. The queen is like some low key angsty like middle school teenager that's running a country and is like crazy.
She's like, for anybody who's read Game of Thrones, she's like Joffrey, a female Joffrey, but like less mature, which is saying something because Joffrey is so immature. But it's like, it's crazy how insane she is. Also, she, in this book in particular, Carissa Broadbent is so good at the complex, like, making me feel so complex with this one girl. I think her name is Nura. I can't remember. But it's the girl, the big girl boss, who's like an Urza type character. And typically I hate those kind of women, and I do. And she is so...
I don't know how to feel about her. It's almost like...
Yeah, and I like her... You hate her, and then you love her, and you sympathize with her, and it's very complex. I don't know how to feel about her.
It's almost like she's had. It's almost like she's had to harden. She's had to harden her heart to the point where it hurts. Like she doesn't hurt. Like it's not. Like I don't know, where it's like she can do these things that originally would really hurt her and bother her and make her feel guilty, and she's hardened herself to the point where she doesn't bother her anymore. That's the kind of vibe that I'm getting from her. Also,
and like also the monster, I'm not trying to spoil anything for anybody, but the monster is written again in a very complex way, where it's like, you hate this thing.
Yes,
but
I can't tell.
Moments that I feel for this thing.
Like, I can't. Yes, I do too.
Complex.
Yes, cool. And I can't tell if it's like a child and it just ages really, really slowly, or if it's even like, because it says there wasn't really like a set gender. It was just kind of like a being. And
really does
yes,
feel like you can't tell what this is.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And it's just like, And also, there was this one dream sequence where we get some flashbacks and we get some answers to things.
Yeah.
That was the angstiest thing I have ever read.
Yes.
In my life. And I could, it was like my whole heart was just like.
I know. And I'm just like, because you full on walk through this person's POV and you see all the crap that happens firsthand. And it's like detail, and it's just like, oh my god, no wonder. And it's just like,
It went to angsty places. I don't think I've ever done anything that bad.
It out-angst you.
This poor little glow stick was just shattered. I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're worse than me. Which is saying something, because I'm pretty awful.
She out-angst you.
Yeah, she out-angsted me, and I'm like, I have never been out-angsted before.
That's funny.
But yeah, so I need to finish it. I want to finish it soon, so you're going to motivate me when we get off here.
Yep, we got it. We got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, so that was, all of that was probably like the first hour was just our update about what we've read and like the basic stuff.
Oh, that's funny.
I don't know how long.
Okay, some random things. I know you recently bought the book Direbound. And supposedly the next book, which is called Furybound, Furybound. Furybound. I almost said Furybound, and I'm like, that's not right. That's not right. That's not right. Like
that book out there somewhere that hits a trope for somebody.
It's almost like the Twilight parody. Oh my god. If you're
Yeah.
kidding.
Oh
I'm
my
kidding.
god, I love that.
All right. But it's supposed to come out May 5th, 2026. So apparently,
Okay, so I gotta read Bound before then.
yeah. Author duo. Author duos. Okay. Anyway, I don't quite understand what that was saying. Let's see. There was a post that I had saved where, like essentially, Steffi Meyer, this has been kind of talk for a while, that she has revealed that she has plans to write more Twilight books in the future. She has plans to write more books. She hasn't said what series. There's one book I know that she's writing. She says that it's weird, is how she described it. I have like that whole interview saved on Instagram, so if you ever want me to send that to you, I can send it to you. Yeah, but it's like a whole, like at Twilight Fest at Forks. She was there this year because of the anniversary or whatever last year. And she is she's working on a book, but she says that it's weird or has some kind of description like that. And so I honestly think it's probably going to be something like The Host or The Chemist, where it's going to be like its own thing.
Yeah, like a standalone weird kind
also,
of thing.
Have you read The Chemist at all? I completely forgot. I forgot that she even wrote it. But it seems almost like a thriller type thing. It's not fantasy at all, I don't think. Or at least that's the way it was giving vibes. It wasn't like a fantasy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do wish that at least I haven't read The Host, but I watched the movie and the movie was really good. And I'm kind of sad that there's not more after that.
Yeah, it's one of those standalones that, like, I wish there was more.
Yeah.
Like Jumper. Jumper's another movie
that reminds me. That was something else. That apparently she has the Host. She has the rest of the stuff planned out, but it's okay. I was going to ask you if this is a thing for you or not, but she's planned them out so much that she just can't get started writing it because it feels like almost restrictive because she has it so planned out. Her plans for the next books are so detailed that she just can't get into writing it because it feels like she's restrictive.
My Republic Chronicle. Yeah, my Republic Chronicle, I haven't written in it since 2022, and that's the reason why. So, relatable.
Yeah.
Sadly relatable.
So, yeah, she does have the rest of the... Yeah, like The Host is a series, and she has the rest of it planned out, but it's so planned out that we're probably never going to get it. So at this rate, I'm like, can you just release your plans in like a Google Doc? That would be great, thanks. Yeah. And then the fans can write it for you as like fan fictions, you know? That'd be great.
When I was in 7th grade, like the early version of Midnight Sun got leaked. I remember sitting in the middle school library and I read that thing so fast.
Yeah.
I don't know how I did it, but I did.
Uh-huh.
And so let's just leak this, and we can just read the rest of the Host things, like what your plans were.
Or just like hire a bunch of like really good fan fiction writers to write it for you. Supporting the fans, you know, because that's the thing. Yeah. So did you want to bounce off? Did you have some stuff that you wanted to mention? And then we'll go back and forth. Okay.
Things. Yeah, so I have a big controversy. Before I get to that one, I'm going to talk about something really quick. Okay. So I saw on Instagram, Rebecca Yarros mentioned that The Last Letter hit the New York Times bestseller list, and this was a week ago. And I was just wanting to shout that out because that's a good book. It was one of my favorite reads last year. I'm really proud of her. Really jealous, but it's really good and it deserves it. So that was my really quick thing. So, yeah. So this is interesting. So, I don't have the author's name, but you're gonna know who I'm talking about. The author of The Blood of Hercules.
Okay.
That author.
Oh, okay.
I should remember. My keyboard decided. Okay, Amazon. I'm gonna look it up.
Okay, I haven't actually read that. Okay, I was thinking you were talking the Song of Achilles. I thought that's what you're talking about, but Blood of Hercules. I do have this book. I just haven't read it yet. Anyway, continue.
Okay. It is Jasmine Mass. Okay, I knew it had Mass was the last name because it reminded me of Sarah J. Maas. Okay, so she recently did a TikTok interview that went viral for all the wrong reasons. So she says she has majors in like some sort of classical history, specializing in Roman and Greek history.
Okay.
And which is cool. Like if you have 2 majors, that's amazing. And she says that Blood of Hercules is like a Hercules retelling. She specifically uses the word retelling. and it's a dark romance version of it
Mm,
though, but it's also gender bent. So at first I got excited,
mm,
but then I was like, you made Hercules a girl, never mind, I'm not excited as I thought.
mm-hmm.
um but gender bent. But here's the thing, it went viral because in the interview, the interviewer started asking her just these basic Greek mythology questions and she couldn't answer any of them, and that's where
Mm,
things started to get a little weird.
mm-hmm.
And like she didn't know that Artemis and Apollo were like brother and sister or twins or whatever, and it was
Yeah.
kind of a basic, like, if you know anything about Greek mythology,
Yeah.
that's kind of a basic thing. And then
A
to
lot of those
market
kind of like
it as a
theory type,
retelling.
a lot of those like inner theory, like trivia interview things are meant to be really easy so that way you don't look stupid.
In this
Like,
case, it failed
yeah.
miserably. But to market it as a retelling is different than like inspired by, and implies that you
Mm,
know the research and the lore and the original story and kind of
yeah.
followed it relatively closely.
Yeah.
So then she admits that she's like, I read so many books, I read all the time. That's great. You're a great reader. Like, kudos to you. You read more than I do. But then later in the interview, she admitted that she skim reads and she writes
Oh.
her books to make them skimmable, and also skim edits her book, which isn't actually editing. So that was another controversy that people are like, red flag.
Okay.
And then she says that her book includes a lot of TikTok
Okay.
memes and
Very
references.
quickly before I forget, I'm pretty sure that when you mentioned the whole skim, she writes it so it's skimmable. Um, I'm pretty sure I saw some people on TikTok or like some videos that was one video in particular that was I don't know, they were complaining about something and then people were kind of like going at them because of why they complained, but they essentially said that there was like um a book was written that there's like no paragraphs. It was just like, I forget how it was written, but it was like lacking some kind of like not really punctuation but like formatting. It was like formatted differently for like people like who were like neurodivergent and stuff like that, because they were writing a neurodivergent character, and so they were kind of making it
Right.
read that
Like
way.
that. Yeah.
And honestly, I'm wanting to say I thought it might be Blood of Hercules that was talking about that. I can't remember
It
though.
could have been because she mentioned that she specifically wrote it to be skimmable and included a lot of TikTok memes and references in it, which is fine, but I don't think it's like part of the genre expectations. Like, if you're doing an ancient, like a retelling of an ancient Greek myth, you're not going to expect a TikTok meme to make it in there. But whatever, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You can include what you want. So it kind of revealed a larger problem in the dark romance genre is what the person reacting to the interview was actually saying,
Yeah.
and also like a big problem in romance genre. Like, generally, not every romance has this problem, but just general.
Yeah.
Book talk makes books go viral quickly, so it rewards authors who publish books very quickly, which means they
Mm-hmm.
don't focus on world building or plot building or true research or good editing. They focus on marketing and trends and publishing quickly and
Mm,
smut, and rather than telling a good story meant to be like
yeah.
reread, meant to last, like the classics like Lord of the Rings, for example.
Mm,
They also don't even read or edit their own books properly, because this has been a problem that we've covered
yeah.
on this channel
Multiple
multiple
times.
times.
Yeah.
Not writing for the craft or the art of it. They're writing to be published and to be the next viral sensation. And this is changing the genre and kind of publishing as a whole, because even like big publishers have shifted to markability and what goes viral instead of genuinely good stories, and it's rewarding like speed over substance was a key
Yeah.
thing that she said. And then one commenter on the video had a comment, because I was scrolling through the comments on the YouTube video of the reaction, and the commenter said, "It's sad how you have writers who agonize over the nuances between using and or but in a sentence conjunction, and yet this book, referring to Blood of Hercules, is the type of book that goes viral." And I was like, that hit my soul, because it's like, a lot of authors that I know, and like me, we put so much time and dedication into editing, like every like
I
little
know.
sentence and word, into editing our books and to make it as best as we can. And then those are the books that get viral and go big and
Mm-hmm.
famous because
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And then there are also suspicions that she, like, some people suspect she may have hired ghostwriters to write this book,
Mm,
because she can't pronounce her own character names. And there's a bunch of other stuff that like she should know and doesn't seem to know,
yeah.
and it's just kind of weird. And so that was
Yeah.
kind of what some people are suspecting. I don't know if it's true or not, but I have
Hmm.
some more comments, but I'll kind of pause there because there's a lot to kind of. I just want to get the
No,
gist
you're
of it out.
good. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. I don't know. Okay. From the way you've described her, it almost sounds like she was. Is that her like her first novel, or has she written things before that?
I don't know, genuinely. I'll pull her up on Amazon though. Where is her author name? Doesn't even have an author. Like usually you can click on the. There we go. Yeah, Blood Hercules Bonds. So sort by publication date. Yeah, so she's got some coming out, and so I think she has others like Psycho Shifters.
Okay, so that looks like it's an older series. It's the first series. So I think.
Yeah, I was looking for the date. That's from 2022. So yeah, Blood of Hercules was not her first one.
Yeah, I don't know. I think every person is different, and everyone has their own vibe, and she just seems like the kind of person that is writing, I don't know. She's just different. And yeah. I think it's unflattering for her, it's unflattering for her to not know a lot of like basic facts or be able to like claiming that you have like degrees in an area and then can't answer any of the trivia. That's concerning,
yeah.
And it's just one of those things where I do not agree with her skim editing. That's not a thing. It's just like skim editing is literally editing is just reading through it, and if there's any like extreme edit issue or like a misspelled word, you change the spelling. That's what I think of when I think of like a skim edit. It's like, oh, are the words spelled correctly? Are there periods where you need periods? Are there question marks where you need question marks? And that's it. Or like just spelling. Like honestly, it seems like ELA class style editing and not college level like detailed edits. Like when I think of an author getting their book edited to be published, I'm thinking, my brain goes to like college level like multi-page essay edits. Like being like in the education major, like there were multiple papers that I would write, and my professor, Dr. Albee, I never got a paper back that didn't have some kind of editing mistake on it. That was how detailed she was with the edits. That's what I think of when we think of like a published work. Something that's getting this level of credit. And that's where I'm like, are they like grammatical errors bad in that book? But then now that I realize that she's gender bended Hercules, I'm just kind of like, is this going to be like an overly strong, powerful, unrealistically powerful female that everything conveniently goes right?
Yeah.
Is that going to be that kind of story?
Well, I kind of told my sister this before you and I got on Discord, and I was like, because she doesn't know Hercules' myth story, so I was like, it is a really angsty story, and like he's forced to kill his children, like there's so much to Hercules' like the original myth, and it's angsty for me because it's Hercules and big strong guy, and I'm like, it ruins the entire root part of the angsty part of the story for me personally, for it to be a girl, a gender bent like version. But I mean, that's a creative liberty she can take, I guess. But yeah. So one of the things that struck me.
Well, and it's honestly, I don't see how, because like she goes to an academy, and it's like the blood test leads her to admit. It honestly feels like an adult Percy Jackson. That's how it feels. Because it says, Alexis Hurt isn't a hero, and she certainly isn't a god. All she's ever been is a survivor, but the fates disagree. When a blood test leads to her admittance into Spartan War Academy, she'll have to do more than merely survive. She'll have to claim her birthright, immortality. For immortality is a privilege one earned in the crucible of the academy, where the heroes and villains and classrooms battleground, while gladiators.
She compares it at the bottom.
Yeah.
She compares it at the bottom to Zodiac Academy, Quicksilver, and When the Moon Hatched, for reference. And she said, extreme enemies to lovers.
You know what this is reminding me of? This is reminding me of forget the name of the show. Hold on. Descendants. It's literally Greek descendants, because it says that Achilles, Patro, her demanding mentors, hone her into a warrior. Augustus and Charon, her professors, and the brooding heirs to the underworld, haunt her steps and her thoughts. It's literally like Percy Jackson mixed with Descendants. Like a Greek descent. It's literally a Greek descent. That's not a retelling of Hercules. What is it?
No, it's yeah. It's like she wanted to use the Greek mythology like as like a trope, like a kind of like a decor kind of like vibes thing, but that's not what a retelling is. So I would say she should have worded it like inspired by, or something else. But the other thing that boggles me though, and when I was thinking about this whole thing for me, is just thinking about her compared to how much research that like I did on Japanese history for Immortal. Like I did research in history in general, but the 1860s era of Japan, like I spent years consuming content of it, reading, researching it for years, even before I felt confident enough to write in that era. Like I actually wrote samurai first because it was a fantasy world and I could make the war up and I didn't have to follow every detail perfectly, and I didn't have to stress about having it accurate until I built up the confidence to tackle that era in Immortal, like the actual history of it, and like double and triple checking my history to make sure I was accurate with things, compared to just somebody throwing out something like this.
So the AI summary is getting its sources from Reddit, so I don't know how realistic this is, but it's saying that, and you can back me up or tell me I'm right or wrong or whatever, that because I asked Google if Achilles and Hercules were the same age and at the same time period, because if I could see it being a Hercules retelling if Hercules was meant to be younger than like Achilles, who's the mentor, but it said that they were part of the same general age of heroes, but Hercules belonged to the generation before Achilles.
Yeah.
So what she's advertising it as doesn't even make sense. If that's true, because it's not giving me a credible source, it's giving me Reddit. And sometimes Reddit is a credible source, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. But it's like a main difference between both belong to different mythologies, which means Roman and Greek. Hercules is the demigod born to the Roman god Jupiter, whereas Achilles was made immortal by his mother. Yeah.
I remember that, yeah.
So I just don't know which one is older.
It's like taking all the myths and legends from Greek mythology and kind of just combining it together to make a book, which isn't wrong, but it's not a retelling, and acting like you're historically accurate. Because in the interview, she mentions that she has a lot of historical details in the book, and I'm like, that's not.
Okay, it's saying that Hercules is significantly older than Achilles. 1 to 2. Okay. Heroes that existed 1 to 2 generations before the Trojan War. Hercules lived and died before the events of the Iliad, as he's often mentioned in myths, and having sacked Troy during his lifetime when King Priam was just a young boy. So yeah, it's almost like she took the idea of Hercules, but then it's called Blood of Hercules, so it makes me think she's a child of Hercules. That's why I bought it, because I thought it was going to be her being a daughter of Hercules. Which that might be what it is, because it says that she claims her birthright. So she
the blurb that I have is actually different than the one
Okay.
This is the Kindle version on Amazon.
Okay.
I'm just a girl, and it turns out I'm Hercules.
Oh, because I'm reading the one on Goodreads.
Okay, well, this is the Kindle blurb on Amazon that I was reading. I'm a girl, and it turns out I'm Hercules.
Does it give any more detail other than that?
I'm struggling to survive in a Titan-infested world where Spartans, immortals from 12 royal families who have godlike powers and obscene wealth rule over all. A shy, stammering foster child with nothing. I keep my head down, cover my scars, and focus on excelling in school. At least I try to, then it happens. My blood test reveals I'm part of the powerful elite. I'm one of them, a Spartan. Forced to attend Spartan War Academy, I undergo the most harrowing test of all time to see if I have what it takes to be an immortal. There's just a few problems. Achilles and Petro are my scary mentors. Charon, the ferryman of death, and Augustus, the son of war, are my most terrifying professors. Also, I'm pretty sure someone's stalking me everywhere I go, or my sanity slipping. I have a bad feeling both are true. I'm surrounded by villains, and they're smothering me with their hate, obsession, and dark possessiveness. Too bad for them. They have no clue just who they're messing with. And that's what I'm reading on the Kindle blurb. But it's the #1 bestseller in fantasy right now, so she's doing something right, I guess.
Yeah, because that's the description that Storygraph has. But then literally Goodreads, Goodreads, it says, step into the Colosseum at a Spartan War Academy where monsters are made, immortality is won, and even a god can die. Alexis Hurt isn't a hero, and she certainly isn't a god. All she's ever been is a survivor, but the fates disagree. And when the blood test leads her to admittance at the Spartan War Academy, she'll have to do more than merely survive. Alexis will have to claim her birthright, immortality, but immortality is a privilege, one earned in the crucible of the academy, where the heroes are villains and the classroom battlegrounds. While and that mentions the whole gladiator, all the people, all these people are her mentors, and then you have these other two that are her professors, and the brooding heirs to the underworld haunt her steps and her thoughts, because where there are gods, there are bound to be monsters, and there is more than one hunting Alexis.
One is the current one that she's using more often.
I don't know,
because I get that you change your word for different things, but sometimes Goodreads can do it's like another version of things, but
this is weird, and now I'm invested in this.
Also on Amazon, can I just point out the weird thing that this is actually in fantasy? It's in the paranormal and urban contemporary fantasy categories.
Okay.
I'm confused.
So I think the one that you read is the most up-to-date one, because the Blood of Hercules collector's edition on the Barnes & Noble exclusive has that one. I'm just a girl, and it turns out I'm Hercules.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So
I don't like that at all.
Because I read it at Target one time when I thought about it, and I picked it up, and I read the blurb on the book, and I think that was a Target a long time. This has been like last year.
Yeah, because I don't remember ever reading that. I remember reading the first one that I read on Goodreads. I thought I remember reading that one.
Yeah, that's the one I remember. Yeah. So she must have updated it with this new version, which honestly, this new one is like a big turn. Like, comparing the blurbs, the one that you read sounds more appealing than the one that
way more appealing. Currently. This one, the whole, I'm just a girl, and it turns out I'm Hercules. That sounds like middle school. That's all.
Yeah,
okay.
Also, I
don't mean that to insult.
That I hate.
I don't mean this as an insult towards my students. Because I'll have students that will write stories from time to time. That sounds like something that they would write as a description for a story that they're writing.
Yeah, it's not that creative.
Or it literally
also gives me that.
Okay, and I don't mean this as an insult to fan fiction writers, because I am an avid fan fiction reader. I always have been. But that sounds like the beginning of a fan fiction.
Yep.
And okay.
Also, I opened up the sample on Kindle just to kind of see it. Immediately, you can see what she means by skimmable. There are several fragmented sentences that aren't actually full sentences that are just one line.
Okay.
Palms relaxed and open, head tipped back. Like, what is a smoking pipe hung from my lips?
Yeah. Okay.
Like, those are fragments.
You know what I think she was trying to do? Okay, there's a song that I read a while back, not a song, a book. Sorry, my mom's going to bed.
You're good.
I gotta send the goodnight text. There's a book that I'd read a while back. It ended up being a guy on guy romance, and I didn't realize until I was kind of like almost finished with the book, but it emotionally destroyed me. I bawled my eyes out at the end of this, but it's called The Song of Achilles. And honestly, and it came out in 2011. It was first published in 2011, and honestly, that's where I think she's trying to give that. It gives me it makes me think that she's trying to do, something like that. But it was literally just a retelling of Achilles. But it adds a little bit of romance into it. Because that's what it makes me think that she was trying to do something like that. Because it's like The Song of Achilles, Blood of Hercules.
It makes sense. Yeah, it seems like the same or similar at least.
Yeah, because like fantasy, romantasy, romance, and then okay, so the Song of Achilles doesn't have the romantasy thing because it's just more like a modern story. It's modern telling, but it's not modern day, but it still takes place in, you know what I'm saying, in the right time period. But it's hard to explain. But that's where I kind of think that the vibe that she was trying to go for, it was like she was trying to go for like Song of Achilles vibes, but she was gender bending it instead of making it a more of like a gay romance kind of thing. She was trying to gender bend it instead.
Yeah,
and make it and make that
female trope. So
that or making it. That or making it just kind of, because I know it's labeled as a dark romance, but honestly, the blurb that you were reading makes me think YA, and it's marketed as a dark romance.
That's awful. Yeah.
She has a lot of stuff there's a lot of issues with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I could see some of my students picking that up. And that would not.
Yeah, and okay, to be fair, like, there's nothing wrong with taking a concept like a Hercules or something and combining it with something totally random. Like, what is a Hercules in a academy? Like, that's how we market.
Yes.
Like, my current one is Mulan meets Fourth Wing, but without
they literally have a...
You don't... It's not a retelling, though. Like, that's the
they have,
I'm not doing a Mulan retelling.
Well, they have, like, the Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. Like, that's a whole thing. It's like... what's that author's name? What's her name? Shanna would be disappointed in me because that's her favorite one of her favorite authors. Jane Austen. Yeah, it'll take like the Jane Austen books and they'll make them into zombie, like zombify them, and I'm just like, that's a whole thing. But you have to just. There's a way about doing it.
But you're not, but don't market it as, like, I know, like, the hit, like, okay, this book has a lot of history in it, or I'm a major and I know all of these histories. Like, you're not doing history. Like, it's just taking the concept and combining it with what you want, which is fine. But just, I think she needs to adjust how she's talking about it and how she's marketing it.
She needs to stop playing the historian card and saying that it's historically accurate or whatever. She needs to quit playing that card because that's going to get her in trouble because it's not. Considering this girl is Hercules, but Hercules is supposed to have been dead like 2 generations before these characters even existed. So it's like, no, it's not. Like, if we're being completely honest here.
It doesn't have to be.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's like, it's the difference between inspired by and retelling. It's like, I'm not sitting here pretending like I'm an expert in Mulan. I'm not researching the actual history behind it.
Yeah.
I'm just taking a story inspired by Mulan. That's all I'm doing. That kind of thing.
Definitely.
So, but yeah. So what else you got?
Okay. So, just a couple little small things. I saw a post that was from Let's Talk Movies on Instagram, and it was like, Disney is reportedly giving Aragon another shot, and this time it might actually receive the epic, faithful adaptation fans are waiting for. So apparently, there's rumors that Aragon is getting a reboot, or could get a reboot, which might get me to read the next ones. Because it mentions how Disney's biggest fantasy projects, like being like Chronicles of Narnia, which I am not excited for yet and will not endorse by any means at all. But we've already talked about that. But but yeah, so it's like I'd be excited to get a more book accurate Aragon, you know,
That
and
would be interesting.
get the rest of the saga with it. I could definitely see it
Yeah.
being a thing, especially since he released the newest book here. Like, there's another book in the series that he's released like here recently within the last 5 years, and so it's like I think I could see that being a thing.
They could get some momentum. Yeah.
Okay, so the other post, they didn't actually give any of the like, the post on Facebook didn't actually give its sources for these statistics.
Right.
So take that as you with what you will. So take it with a grain of salt.
Okay.
Let me see. Looked up these people. Um, okay. Um, okay. So it's based off of YouGov. So YOUGOV. That's what it lists here in the post. Which is a U.S. data analysis and marketing research services. So it's like research.
Seems reasonable to
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Accurate
Okay,
enough
it
for me.
says it's from a Facebook page called Big Little Reads, and it says more and more Americans are slowly turning away from books, as the findings from a recent study suggest. And it says suggests a U government study on the state of reading in the United States found that the median American read only 2 books last year, which is 2025, in 2025,
Right.
with 6 out of 10 Americans saying they read at least 1 book in 2025. What's shocking is that almost 40% of Americans didn't read even a single book last year. 40% of Americans didn't read any books in 2025, while 27% read 1 to 4 books, and around 13 read 5 to 9 books. And around 19% of Americans read 10 or more books, which included 9% who read 10 to 19, 6% who read 20 to 49 books, and only 4% who read 50 or more books. Which the whole 4% doesn't surprise me, because there's an elite, you will have to be an elite category reader to read 50 books in a year. I have
Have a lot of time
yeah,
on your hands.
yeah, so there's my my English comp professor at State Fair. She is a big reader. Like, every year her Goodreads goal is like big, and she's like constantly, she's a power reader. Tell you what, let's see if it'll let me see what her goal was for the year.
My
It's
thing
at
is,
least
I always
50.
remember, how do you find this many books that you love? Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that. I
Honestly,
mean, I
she
do have a
doesn't
huge TBR
like
list, but
she
I don't know
doesn't
if I can find
always
100 books.
yeah. Let me see what okay. Her goal is 50 and she's read 7 so far. Um and
It's all
then
the. It's
honestly, but
January.
she doesn't, she very rarely rates them completely like 5 star. Like, I think she's just more of like reads to read, I think.
Makes sense.
But yeah, so she
Yeah.
she always has like at least 50. I think her goal every year is 50 books. But yeah, it's just,
Meanwhile, I'm
but the whole
struggling to get
4%
through one
doesn't surprise me, but the fact that 40% of the country didn't read at all,
Yeah.
any books
That's
at all.
awful. I'm so awful. And then that kind of makes me feel slightly more like, not really better because I feel awful, but better in the sense of like why my industry, like why I struggle to make money, is because we're coming from a very small percentage of people that even want to read books,
Yeah.
let alone my specific genre of books.
Yeah.
So I need to not be so
Yeah.
hard on myself
No,
about that,
yeah,
because it's
yeah.
like we have a crisis right now of people not reading books, and like
Oh yeah.
reading is so important. Like, there's so many, like, not just escapism and entertainment, but just education and widening your horizons and opening yourself up to like other things, and like growing and learning and adventure, and
Yes.
technology is just doing so much damage to young minds these days, instead of just reading a good book. Like, we can't, even I'm guilty of like relying too much on my phone or the internet or whatever, instead of just sitting and being able to pick up a book and just read it.
Yeah.
That's really fascinating statistics, though. I'm actually surprised I said that word right. Usually I struggle. That gets me every time. Because of my speech impediment that I used to have. But
Yeah.
And even you, at being a teacher, you've noticed the decline in people who can read.
Well, it's like the reading ability, but also, there's no desire. There's no desire to. Kids hate reading. They don't want to read. One, they don't want
Oh my
to,
gosh.
and two, a large portion of the ones that don't want to can't read. And our school specifically has a lot of um, like remedial, like where they'll pull kids out and they'll work like really in-depth reading stuff, and we're improving it slowly because we have like an RTI where they have a class where we just go back and reinforce vocabulary and all of those different kind of things. But I think it's just it's a nationwide issue.
It is. It's a big issue.
Yeah.
Was that all the statistics that had?
Oh, yeah. And I don't think I had much else. Oh, I did see where, I guess, George R. Martin was like complaining about Tolkien's Lord of the Rings because he wanted to know like what tax system Aragorn put into place after he became king, and he felt that it just transitioned too smoothly, I guess. And I was kind of watching this other podcast react to it, and his reaction was very funny. And he made the comment that it's like, at least Tolkien completed his series. And he is literally the grandfather of fantasy. Like, literally, Tolkien invented fantasy. Like, he is the one that his works created the category. So George R. Martin has no room to complain at all. Because one, he hasn't finished his series yet, and two, not everyone wants what Game of Thrones is. And Game of Thrones wouldn't be Game of Thrones if Lord of the Rings didn't create the platform that it did. That's all I'm going to say.
100%.
But yeah,
I totally agree with that take.
But yeah.
Yeah. Like, not everybody needs to get into, like, it's two exact opposites. How earlier we were talking about these books that are really shallow, that don't go in depth on the world building, and they just go to be viral. And then you have books like George R. R. Martin who take too much time in all the details and never get anything written. And then you have like Tolkien, who kind of did a well-rounded, like, lots and lots of world building, but created this genre that would, like, even romantasy people, like, y'all have Tolkien to thank for that. So just keep that in mind. Like, so.
And I'm still irritated. I learned this here like recently because I was frustrated because the whole romance between Arwen and Aragorn in the first book wasn't there. It didn't really mention that whole romance thing at all. And I was like really like just kind of disheartened because I loved their story. And apparently it is canon. It's just in the appendices, like in the appendix, like the but the reason why it's not written in the books is because the books are from the Hobbit's perspective, I guess. It's like the Hobbit's perspective of like the Hobbit's kind of story, and that's the main focus. And so the books just don't go into detail about that, and I'm like, okay. I'll take it. I like it. All right. Cool. Yeah. And we have Beren and Luthien, which is a very similar... It's not similar at all, but it is an elf and a human romance. I'm just mad that he never finished it. He just never finished the final version. Yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah.
So one that I had was bookish opinions that I will not explain.
Yes. Okay.
From this one thing. And I wanted to see, because it's some interesting takes. Okay, so DNFs are valid at any page number. You're wasting time that could be spent on another book. Yeah. So it's like, it's okay to DNF a book. I'm like, as somebody who's coming from a reading
I would feel awful about it, but I agree with her. It's just I don't think I could ever physically do that because I would just feel awful about it. I think I'll leave my bookmark there and I'll put it back on the shelf with full intentions of going back and finishing it later. But I guess that's my version of DNFing. Is just I'll say like, okay, I'm gonna leave it on hold and I'll put it over here. That's what I did with Jurassic Park, and eventually I came back and read it and enjoyed it. Because I started reading it when I was in high school, and I'm just like, I'm not comprehending any of this.
like Tigger, the Tata for now. It's like DNF,
Yeah.
FN. So did not finish for now, is what I like to say.
Oh, yeah.
All right, audiobooks count as reading. Listening to a book's helped me get through chores.
1000%.
And so we know the audiobook thing is a big
1000%,
it
yeah.
counts as reading to me.
Yeah.
You may not comprehend his depth, like, but if you're somebody who audibly, like, if you have an audible kind of comprehension level.
There was an interview that I saw with this she was kind of like a researcher, scientist kind of lady, that you comprehend it better when you're listening to the audiobook, because when you read, we tend to jump over some of like those filler words. When we're reading, we tend to kind of like speed over some of those things, but when you're listening to the audiobook, you're getting everything, as long as it's written grammatically correct, hence the importance of editing. Then you're getting the full, it's actually very helpful grammatically for you, like in comprehension and all that. So
that's why reading your book out loud is a good editing method, because you will catch stuff that your brain has skimmed over a million times. Now, me personally, I can't comprehend very well if I'm just listening, so I always like to have the book with me, but it definitely comprehends better than if you didn't have the audio part with the book too. So
yeah.
The next one was Series Fatigue is Real. Yes, I love the first 3 books. Book 4, I just can't right now.
Yeah, no, I'm currently doing that with, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, we were like, we need a
I've done that multiple times.
Yeah, it happens. Rereading is elite. Sometimes I just need predictable. I'm not really sure exactly what this means.
The issue with me is that if I'm reading a book and I know that something emotionally like angsty is going to happen, I struggle to finish the book, because I start dreading getting to that part because I know it's coming. That's my issue though. I will reread books, but if there's a really, really angsty part, there's times where I'll kind of skim over chapters because I just can't, I can't, because I know it's coming.
For me, it's knowing the story. Like, I know all the details, so, like, my interest is, like, it's rare when I reread. I used to do that more often when I was a kid, but I read more when I was in high school. So, all right, some books are vibes only, and that's fine. Not every book needs to be groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you just get a book that just vibes, right?
Yep.
Marketing can ruin a reading experience. You expect one thing, and then you get another.
We were literally just talking about that. That's literally the main issue, because that's honestly, I was just thinking to myself, we were talking about the Blood of Achilles, and I'm like, do I even really want to read this still, or, so that's a real thing.
One book, I can't remember oh my gosh, it's on my shelf in there, Shadow book, I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. It's like, okay, there's this one book this was a book I read before we got started on our whole thing and on our podcast. And it was, at the time, it was a 5-star read, but I hated the ending because the ending ruined the whole book. But the whole book, it was like this pretty circus type thing and these sprayed edges. And I read a lot of people that like hated the whole book because it was like marketed as like a circus fantasy. And then you leave the circus in the first few chapters of the book, and the rest of the book is
yeah.
Or something like that. Like,
I
can't remember it's Shadow. It's Shadow something, and it's like circus. And so I was like, Shadow Circus book. I don't know the title, and it was not helpful, so I can't find it. But, so yeah. So those are just some of the takes. I have more, but I can.
Is it Circus of Shadows?
No, I don't think that's it.
No.
Yeah, I may go on my Goodreads because it should be, because before last year I didn't read a whole lot, so it'll be on there. If I reviewed it, it'll be on there. Oh, Red. I need to go to my reading list. Red. Okay. Shadowfall. No, that's my book. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so there's other. Okay. Scrolling through all of last year's books. Scrolling through all the books from 2024. Sanctuary of Shadow is what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah, Sanctuary of the Shadow.
Yeah, it has it literally has a 2.92 rating.
Oh, that's worse than I thought.
Yeah. Okay,
So it's up at the top for me.
most people have given it a 3-star. A 3, yeah.
I said a wonderful, amazing book ruined by sex and an unsatisfactory ending.
Yeah.
And that's what I put on my
Yeah,
top comment
someone
for the
said,
review.
like, the
Wow.
sudden, yeah, someone's like, the sudden jump in the writing quality / care during the sex scenes was actually hilarious, like everything else was just lame window dressing.
Yeah.
I might
Like,
be the minority.
literally,
Yeah.
yeah, like, minor spoilers for this book, but he literally loses his memory and forgets her. Like, that's the price that he had to pay for something. And he loses his memory of her. And then she greets him after it happens, and then they have sex, and then it's just fine, and nothing is ever addressed. Like, that's the entire ending of the book. And you're expecting some sort of epilogue where he has to get his memories back, or where it establishes that he doesn't remember her, but they re-fall back in love, or something like that. And it's the worst ending.
Apparently it's getting a book 2. Oath of the Outcast.
What?
Expected the 21st of July 26 is what Goodreads is saying.
Oh my god, I found it. Okay. July 2026. That is insane.
Yeah. Let me see.
I may have to read it just to see how much of a bomb wreck it's going to be, but she doesn't have a cover reveal. Aurora Astor, let's see what she's up to.
Let me see what's on her Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're getting on a really big tangent here, but that's okay. We're here to talk about books. So I'm gonna look her up on Amazon. Aurora Astor.
It sounds like she's doing...
I don't know how to spell the name Aurora.
Okay.
I just realized.
Okay, it looks like she's doing a lot on her Instagram. It's a
No.
lot of her other series. So it's like
Yeah,
My Demon Hunter.
She's doing a lot of other. Yeah. She's like focused on her other books right now on Amazon. Like there's a new one coming out this year.
Okay, the last post
Beauty
I
and the
saw
Demon.
that had that cover on it was in 2024. This is the first time we've officially
like
announced author Sanctuary of Shadows will be visiting our store. Okay. So it was like another bookstore type, was like she was visiting their store or whatever.
Sounds like she switched to her series and she's not going to go back to Sanctuary of the Shadow, and she's just going to go to the other one. They're rated higher though, it looks like, on Amazon at least.
Yeah,
Like,
let me look. Okay, yeah, they're rated a lot on. Okay, well, to be fair, Sanctuary of Shadow is newer. It was Goodreads has it published in 2024. What does Amazon say?
You read the blurb for My Funny Demon Valentine? I don't know why it's giving me K-pop Demon Hunter vibes. Like, you know the part where they walk in, it's like they're gonna create a demon boy band and they're like, "Hoo-ah," and they do that pose moment. It's like
Really?
the blurb is giving me those vibes.
Oh
I
my
can't
god.
even. Oh my god. Asmodeus, Prince of Hell, just wants to make music. Jazz, specifically. Unfortunately, he's a demon and he's supposed to be evil.
It is! Okay.
It's K-pop Demon.
Okay, it has 17,000 ratings on it, so maybe that's why people are liking it.
Yeah, it like maybe it became bigger after K-pop Demon Hunters. Like,
Yeah, okay.
The audiobook was $41.
Oh.
What the ever living heck? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
That's
But
crazy.
this one
When
was
it published.
It's on Goodreads is saying
2025.
okay, Goodreads is saying published October 31st of 2021.
This one says January 21st, 2025.
Maybe
on
she
Amazon.
did. Maybe she did a
Maybe the new version of it.
Maybe it's the newer cover. She re-released it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Honestly, that would make sense because on Goodreads is showing that her most recently published book is Sanctuary of Shadows at 2024. It was like January 9th of 2024.
She went from that.
So she went from
released the Hellbent series, but she focused on that one.
Yeah.
And like doing more.
Maybe because she realized that
that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm so captivated by this. I shouldn't be captivated by this story, but the blurb is like, it's drawn me in. This may be a guilty pleasure read. I'm not gonna lie. It's doing its job. I'm telling you what. I can't explain it.
Oh my
Okay.
gosh. Okay. Alrighty.
Awful. Okay. Yeah.
I think we do
We got on a
my.
tangent.
Okay. I say we do my book haul on, because we've been going for like an hour and 36 minutes. So that gives us an excuse to do another check-in on like Friday or Saturday.
Maybe I can get a book maybe I can get a book between now and then, and I can do a book haul too.
Okay, just to give people like a basic idea of the number of books that are in this book haul, it is stupid, because I have been collecting books over the last weeks. And so we just haven't been doing updates, and so I'm like, okay, I'll set them on my desk, and whenever we... Okay, to be fair, I recorded a whole book haul on my computer that I was going to post to my personal one, and the audio didn't record any of it, and there was no audio at all. I put it into CapCut to edit it, and there was no audio at all. And I'm like, it was one of those things, it was going through my Oculus, and I didn't realize it, and it just didn't record any of the audio, and I'm like, dang it, because I have like my mic like right here, and I'm like, this is insane.
You know the word on the beat things? I did a bunch of those as a writer, like for my YouTube channel, and it was so funny because I kept messing up. And then
did it not record any of it?
Didn't record. And it's like I can't redo it because it was unscripted and just in the moment.
That's
funny. But I was so mad. I'm still not over it. I was so disappointed. So now I like record two different sources, so I always have a backup because that's so annoying. So I record on my phone because my phone has a recorder thing.
There.
But anyways.
Alrighty. So let us know what you're reading. Let us know how your 2026 is going. I've seen a lot of videos of like people are like, let's bring back 2006 or let's bring back 2016, and I'm like, I'm okay with either one of those. But so let us know what you're doing, what's going on. Are you snowed in or not? I've been watching the two British guys, Josh and Jace. They are in Michigan right now, and I've been watching their reaction to things, and it just cracks me up. So yeah, that's been my kind of guilty pleasure, just watching them reacting to United States. And honestly, it just like, they're just unfiltered love and fascination with the U.S. is just so refreshing, and it's just, I enjoy it.
Some of those
it's really
types
cool.
Of videos, like foreigners living in America kind of stuff. I've had a vibe of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, also if you guys have any controversies or bookish news or topics that you want us to cover, and book recommendations, especially indie authors, good way to get us to read some suggestions.
I need a series recommendations. So if you guys have any good fantasy, like it could be older series that are just really, really good, let me know. Because I'm on the hunt. And I will eventually be buying another bookshelf because I've officially run out of room. So I'm running out of things. What's gonna happen? I'm slightly concerned at how it's gonna look on camera, because I'm gonna get a lamp and put a lamp in between those two, put a bookshelf. I think I might be able to put the lamp over here and keep it over here, because the bookshelves are slim enough that I think it would work. But yeah, I'm gonna get a different lamp because this lamp is like huge, and then I'm going to get another bookshelf so they're not piled on my desk, because I have part of the reason why they're just piled on my desk is like I do not know where they're going to go on the bookshelf. I don't have any room.
I can understand that,
and I don't want to take anything off either.
And yours are the shelf where like yours aren't the shelves where you can put books in front of books,
no,
like
they're
on
not.
top of, but not in front of.
They're
Mine, I can just I just pile them in front of the other books, and I'm like, I'm out of room.
My shelf. I guess honestly, if I really, no, they're not really that deep either. Also, I don't know if I said this or not. You remember the covers that I bought for the Twilight series? They finally made the Short Second Life of Bree Tanner and Midnight Sun covers. So they finally released them. And they were like, I pre-ordered them way earlier last year, and they finally came in like towards the end of last year. And I just never told you, but they look so pretty. I'll have to show you after stream. But yeah, it's really
I
good.
just did finish Midnight Sun. That was the book I was reading when we started our podcast, and I read Fourth Wing. I was like, how can I go back to Midnight Sun after reading Fourth Wing? And I just never went back.
I want to do a tandem read with Twilight and Midnight Sun. I've saved pictures before of like the tandem read between the two. Like I really kind of want to. That, and I also want to actually reread Divergent and actually finish the series. Because I figured out what happened to the main character at the end of the third one, and I just decided I didn't want to put myself through that, so I didn't read it. And I haven't watched the movies either, because I know how I am with movies and books, so I've just avoided the movies too. So I haven't seen the second or third movies either. Like, I've actively avoided that whole series because, one, I didn't want to spoil... I don't know, I just wasn't interested, and I kind of fell out of that whole, because like that was like the tail end of the Hunger Games bit. Like, I read Divergent after the Hunger Games, and it just wasn't giving me the same vibe, and I just kind of fell out of it.
Yeah,
because that was coming off of the hype of Hunger Games for me in school, and
that would be hard. Makes sense. But
alrighty, guys, we'll talk to you later.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.